Sustainable infrastructure has been said to be the only way to build countries, cities and communities with energy systems and critical services that can help towards a greener future. Actis is a leading global investor in sustainable infrastructure, and it is currently invested in 90 portfolio companies in over 50 countries to accelerate the energy transition and enable a net zero future. I sat down at the COP28 talks here in Dubai to talk to the partner and head of sustainability at Actis, Shami Nissan, and senior partner Torbjorn Caesar. It's COP28 Dubai, a very exciting time. What are you most excited about in terms of announcements or what might happen within the infrastructure industry, your industry in particular?
But I think in the whole sustainable infrastructure where we invest, for us at Actis, just to be here, having our voice heard and participating in discussion and maybe taking a little step in the right direction of making sure that climate change is stopped. I think that is the main reason why we're here.
Why is it important to be here for you?
It's important for us because sustainability and accelerating transition to net zero is at the heart of everything that we do. It's what we invest into and it's how we invest. It's important to our investors that entrust us with their capital and our people. And we have investments here on the ground in the UAE, Emekul and Yellow Door Energy. So it's right that we're here playing our role, spreading the message and being active in the dialogue and debate.
Very much looking forward to continuing the conversation over in our studio. Let's head on over.
Thanks, Laura.
Let's go. Thanks.
Shami, Torbjorn, great to have you here at COP28, right in the thick of it. Tell us a little bit about why sustainability and climate action is important to you, as well as a little bit more about Actis.
We are a leader in infrastructure investing. Transforming infrastructure for a better tomorrow is our vision. And if you look at where we then invest, in the parts of the world where 85% of the world population lives, clearly sustainability and climate change is a massive, massive topic. Both an investment opportunity, but also a topic really to address. And if you're looking at the key elements that we have, being builders and operators, we're hands-on investors. Like myself, I started my career back in 1987 as a young engineer building a power plant in Egypt. And then so an industrialist coming into the investment space. So that hands-on control investing, that's a very typical feature of us. We then have this unlock global opportunities. We have our 17 offices from Mexico City to Japan and all the people in those offices, and clearly also we have some 500-600 board members and chief executives in all the businesses that we own. That gives us an unparalleled connectivity across the globe. We can pick and choose the best opportunities where we are. And the third, very topical here for COP, is sustainability. Clearly, everything we do is focusing on sustainability as both, to make a difference, leave the world a little bit a better place, but also it is a financially, attractive theme to go for. So creating sustainability leaders, and clearly for us here, Sham is leading that for us.
Yeah, so Laura, sustainability is, as you've heard from Torbjorn, absolutely key to everything that we do, and it's at the heart of how Actis invests and what we invest into. So sustainable infrastructure is our mission, and we also want to create sustainability leaders, which means we would like every one of the businesses that we invest into to be a sustainability leader in its own right, in its industry. And that's important to us because, as Torbjorn said, we need to address the UN Sustainable Development Goals, and we need to address the climate challenge if we're going to have social stability, economic prosperity. Both of those are prerequisites for investing, but also for all of us as humanity. So that's really important to us. And we embed sustainability considerations into all aspects of our investments. So that would mean if we were investing into a renewable power business, for example, we wouldn't just sit back and say, okay, green, clean, affordable power, we've done our job. We think about biodiversity, about nature, about gender, about worker welfare, health and safety, local communities. So a really holistic approach. And we do that because we believe that it makes the companies higher quality and more valuable as well.
Very impressive that it's sustainability across the board.
Yeah.
Now, going into these different sectors, we're talking about energy, real estate, as well, of course, as digital infrastructure. Tell us more about those key pillars and those key sectors, and which area are you seeing the most growth as well?
I mean, as you said, sustainability goes through everything. But if you're looking at the three areas where we invest behind, energy transition, probably the largest, massive investment opportunity, digital transformation, and then supply chain reallocation that's happening in the world right now. So these are absolute massive themes. I mean, if you look at energy transition, the normal growth of electricity demand is set to double over the next, say, 15, 20 years, depends on who you ask. What does that mean? We need to build another planet of power plants in 20 years' time. And the electricity sector is the world's largest, or humankind's largest investment ever. And now we're going to replicate that in a 20-year time horizon. And on top of that, we're going to take the existing planet and decarbonizing it. So it is just an absolute massive investment opportunity. So that's the largest one we do. But don't then think that the digital transformation is much smaller, because clearly that whole transformation into more of a digital connected world is massive as well, and relies on green, affordable, reliable electricity. So they are actually coming together. And then you have the whole logistics and the supply chain to support it. So they're all coming together, along the lines of sustainability.
So you're investing 6 billion into the energy transition at the moment. Tell us more about that and how that's progressing as well.
So the 6 billion is our fifth energy fund. So to date, we've invested in more than 35 energy platforms or businesses. 20 of those are renewable energy platforms. And that equates to something like 32 gigawatts of installed capacity, which is a lot of power. And that in itself relates to 32 million tons of CO2 avoided, just as we think about decarbonization being such a big imperative, and we're here at COP. So that piece of what Actis does is absolutely crucial. And through a climate lens, investing in renewables, we think of that as mitigation. It's avoiding the emissions. There's a second piece, though, that Actis also invests in, which is adaptation. So we're here today in Dubai. We've invested proudly in Emikul, which is a homegrown UAE business that provides district cooling, second largest district cooling business in the country. And Emikul is actually providing the cooling to the Expo City where we're sitting today, which is quite neat. But that's very much considered an adaptation investment, because in a region like this where temperatures and humidity are climbing so quickly, actually district cooling and air conditioning is essential. It's an essential piece of infrastructure for society, for businesses, for people. So we do both the mitigation adaptation side, and as Torbjörn said, just the third element of this is what some people call greening the brown, or industrial decarbonization. So perhaps it's data centers in a digital infrastructure context, but that clean power can be used to decarbonize.
So you very much focus on emerging markets. You've got this incredible holistic approach as well, as you mentioned. Have you got any nice sort of examples that you can give us where you've been sort of most proud about that approach?
So I can share an example. I mentioned earlier that one of our missions is to create sustainability leaders. We invested in a company called Lekela, a Pan-African renewable energy business. It was operating in Egypt, South Africa, and a couple of other countries. And we built this business up in 4 to 5 years and then exited it. And what I'm really proud about is that at the time of the exit, Sustainalytics rated Lekela. This is a sustainability ratings agency, third party, completely neutral and independent. And they were ranked as 1% globally on sustainability amongst all utilities. So that really provides a lovely anecdote and validation for us that this is what we can achieve in these markets, which can be misperceived as risky or challenging. But with the right tools, we can deliver energy transition in a sustainable way with sustainability leadership as a value add. So I love that story.
It is. I mean, another example can be Atlas in Latin America, where we created the largest solar-powered utility across the Latin America. And by doing that, we proved that it can actually make that on a large scale as well, with solar power coming in there, making a big difference.
So why have you decided as a company to always focus on emerging markets? Why is it these markets that you think sort of need the most focus?
I think there are a couple of things. First, if you look at our history, where we're coming from, clearly we have a deep-rooted history in the emerging markets, or I would rather say Latin America, Africa, and Asia. But also if you're looking at two things here. If you look at supply and demand of capital and opportunities, the majority of capital that's been raised into the infrastructure space is raised to invest in US and Europe, while 85% of the world population lives in Latin America, Africa, and Asia. And demographics drives that opportunity set to be much larger than in Europe and US. So where do you want to be? Do you want to be where lots of capital chasing fewer opportunities? Or do you want to be in the markets we're in with smaller amount of capital chasing a lots of opportunity set? That gives a much better risk return profile, we think. If you're then looking at sustainability and in the renewable space, it also so happens that the sun is shining more and the wind is blowing more in that part of the world. So the same identical solar panel or wind turbine will generate maybe twice as many kilowatt hours in the markets where we invest, and through that having half the price.
Yeah, I guess I would only add that, not only do we have 85% of the population in the global south, but we also have population growth and we have urbanization, which is really driving the needs in the real estate sector. And these markets, these countries are really underserved when it comes to all kinds of infrastructure, digital, real estate, transport, power, grids that connect the power and evacuate it to cities and homes and businesses. So if you think about where is the need greatest, it is certainly there, which means for us, that's where the opportunity is the biggest.
Off the back of that, I wanted to touch a little bit on supply chains and supply chain management and how you create a green, sustainable entire supply chain, especially off the back of geopolitical tension and, the new sort of world economy as well. So how are you managing that?
But you're right to point that out, and I think it is a big shift that is happening, say China +1, and lots of opportunities in that supply chain reallocation. We just sold a business in Vietnam, for instance. We built a big industrial park there, green, sustainable, long-term sustainable a business, which we've got a premium from when we exit that. But those opportunity sets, making sure therefore that we follow the manufacturing industry, making sure we build that logistics and industrial parks in Vietnam, or is in Eastern Europe, or if it is opportunities that you can see in Mexico. That is a massive, massive opportunity that connects back to sustainability, because they all need green, renewable energy to power them.
Absolutely. And I would just add that all of our companies are working on decarbonization plans and net zero plans. And partly that's because it's part of our mission to be a sustainability leader. But decarbonizing, make no mistake, is a commercial imperative. So the lower your carbon footprint, the more competitive you are, the more you can lower your costs, you can make yourself resilient to transition risks, regulatory, taxes, etc., that are coming down the line.
That's very exciting indeed.
Yeah.
I mean, that's an area that definitely needs to be developed more. Torbjörn, Shami, it's been really fantastic speaking with you. Thank you so much. Some brilliant updates. Really fantastic to see how much progress is being made over Actis. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Laura. Thank you.